E-A-T-L-E-S,
Jody Mack, the legendary sports talker, joins forces with NFL insider John McMullen. Start your morning with Johnny Mack and Jody Mack across the JAKIB Media Network.
Look, I mean, do you take Jeffrey Lurie at his word and say, I don't want real competition at the quarterback position? Then Joe Flacco's perfect, because nobody's going to come in here and say Joe Flacco should be starting at 36 after he's been a backup in Denver and with the Jets. He's at the end of his career. Nick Foles is the same player. He's a good backup quarterback, but the minute Jalen Hurts has a bad game, you have this minority of fans that's going to say, play Nick Foles, play Nick Foles. So I don't think that would be a good route to go down. And obviously, if you take a quarterback at number 6, that's your quarterback.
Right.
That's your quarterback, not Jalen Hurts.
What's up, John?
Free subject to available.
Hello,
John.
How are you?
Just trying to place, just another day trying to place a live bet. Oh, yeah.
This is The Middle on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios. Here's Eitan Shander, Barrett Brooks, and Harry May.
Already cooked. The first half unders not looking good. Mr. Predicto, on the other hand, is in here. Like, I already lost my under 71.5 and under 69.5. So Mr. Predicto lives another day. We're going to have to get his thoughts. Look, it hit with 6:18 left in the first half.
Wow. Pretty impressive out of Mr. Predicto.
Yeah, seriously. Like, that's a bounce back, Harry.
Yeah, it is. It's
That's
strong.
A bounce back. Now, there's a man who needs no bounce back in his world because he is moving forward and most likely on. I don't know when the last day is that we'll get a text or call returned from John McMullen, but I imagine it's going to coincide with the start of his new program alongside Jody McDonald that you will see and hear not only on the JAKIB Media YouTube page, but also Philly Voice, and that's Birds 365. We anticipate, John, that you will, for lack of a better term, lose our number.
No, I'm far from it. In fact, mainly to ask you to come on my show. Reciprocate.
Right.
Meaning Barrett.
That's pretty early in the morning, so I don't know if I can.
Yeah, you don't mean me, Eitan or me, right? You're just talking about Barrett.
Sure. I mean, Eitan and Harry. Why wouldn't I? Of course, Barrett. Of course.
Well, it's Birds 365. So unless you want to talk birdies with Mays or bird bleep with me, you probably want to bring on Barrett. That would be my suggestion. Kenny Golladay to the Giants. Everybody's taking the Giants at plus 500 to win this thing now. What are your thoughts, reaction, predictions about what New York can be? Look, if Daniel Jones a step, is that possible?
Well, when did Kenny Golladay become Randy Moss? I mean, he's a good player, but I mean, he was on the Detroit Lions with a really good quarterback, and he put up some numbers. He's a good player, but I mean, it's not devastating. I do think when you look at the Eagles in this secondary and you look at the division as a whole, I mean, Dallas comes in. Dallas is getting Dak Prescott back, obviously from injury, and you have CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup, and now you have Curtis Samuel joining Terry McLaurin in Washington and Golladay with Sterling Shepard. So they better help the secondary, and they did that with Anthony Harris, and who knows what happens with Adoree Jackson. But they need help in the secondary, and I think Anthony Harris, man, that guy's a good player.
Really good player.
And the Eagles got him at a bargain because Minnesota's defense fell in the tank last year. Had nothing to do with Anthony Harris. They lost Danielle Hunter. They lost Michael Pierce to COVID. They lost Anthony Barr to Peck. They lost everybody. They had no pass rush, no front seven. So he didn't look great. And the Eagles took advantage of that.
Well, looking at that and really predicting as we go forward about the division. Division is gotten better. We're talking about a bad division. I don't see this division as being as bad as it was last year, number one. Number two, because Saquon Barkley's going to be back. There's got Galladay. You look at the Washington football team, they go with Samuels now. Is there any case that, is it a realistic point of view of saying, all right, if the Eagles go ahead and there's going to be a team that wants to get up around that 6 area to get a quarterback, and I'm thinking we can get a lot of value if we trade back, even if it's like 4 or 5 picks, to get a guy that can play cornerback, that can be a cornerstone in that defense for a long time, as opposed to going on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, well, that's what you're talking about. So if you have to deal with these receivers, and I just got off a call before getting on with you guys, Alabama's having their pro day. So all the guys were talking. Patrick Surtain, obviously, would be one of those corners.
That's exactly who Barrett was talking about.
Love him.
Yeah.
Love him.
Calipari also. But,
yes.
This team has holes all over the place. So Devontae Smith spoke today as well, the Heisman Trophy winner. Jalen Waddle is from Alabama. They could use help at wide receiver. They could use help with Kyle Pitts. They could use help all over the place. And that includes Patrick Surtain. That's my dog chiming in.
Look, the dog is smarter than at least me, if not Harry combined. I'm sure through osmosis, your dog is probably smarter than half of Eagles Twitter.
Oh, my dog's smarter than me. There's no question about that.
We should put the dog against Mr. Predicto.
That's an amazing idea, Harry.
Yeah.
We could even add Ron Culver and make it a 3-person panel and really make it like Jeopardy.
Fake news, new segment.
All right. Well, let me ask John, the Lions losing Galladay, they knew they were going to lose him anyway for a while, but do you think this changes or affects what they do in the draft at 7? Are they a team that the Eagles might have to worry about maybe jumping ahead to get one of those wide receivers?
Yeah, one of the things, and I think Howie Roseman started this at his new league year press conference. The biggest problem I had with Jeffrey Lurie opening his mouth, talking to Chris Mortensen, or at least leaking things to Chris Mortensen, was you're affecting the strategy. And, mainly it was about quarterback, but ultimately you want teams behind you or even in front of you thinking they don't know what you're going to do, because that uncertainty could mean a player drops to you. So I think Howie started that process and trying to clean that up with the quarterbacks. But yeah, look, everybody knows the Eagles could potentially take a wide receiver. So if you want one and one's there at 6, you're going to have to go up there's no question about that.
Wow. Go ahead, Barrett.
From an offensive standpoint, they keep saying Pitts. They keep saying, there's a lot of talent at that level, but I don't know what type of offense this team is going to run. Even if it's close to what they did in Indy, we don't have another back right now that could tandem like they had with Mack and the rookie they had last year. So, I'm saying we have to draft pretty high, especially around, 2nd or 3rd round to get into the running back. Or are we going to go defense? What capacity? Because offensively, we don't have enough at the running back position to maintain what they're doing in Indy like they did in Indy.
Well, there's a lot of uncertainty when you talk about a new coaching staff. There always is, because you wonder what they're going to do. And you look at their histories, and obviously you look at Indianapolis's offense. One thing Nick Sirianni has said pretty consistently is his offense is going to be about his players, which I like. You should not pound the square peg in the round hole. If you don't have players that can fit your system, you got to look at what your players do well. He at least talks the talk when it comes to that. So if he's got 2 good tight ends, if it's Pitts, if it's Goddard, he's gonna build it around 12 personnel. If they get Jalen Waddle and Jalen Reagor sort of starts to turn the corner, they play more 3 receivers, he's going to build it around that. But you're right, Barrett. They need another running back with Miles Sanders for a number of reasons. Miles has not done a great job when it comes to pass protection, catching the football out of the backfield. So they need sort of that third down back, and I don't think it's Boston Scott, to be honest.
John, what can you tell us about the backup quarterback situation? I saw some activity on social media this weekend about Nick Foles being possibly courted, and now Joe Flacco's name is
coming back to South Jersey. What a Bond's own Joe Flacco.
Love it.
How great would that be? Yeah. Look, I mean, do you take Jeffrey Lurie at his word and say, I don't want real competition at the quarterback position? Then Joe Flacco's perfect, because nobody's going to come in here and say Joe Flacco should be starting at 36 after he's been a backup in Denver and with the Jets. He's at the end of his career. Nick Foles is the same player. He's a good backup quarterback, but the minute Jalen Hurts has a bad game, you have this minority of fans that's going to say, play Nick Foles, play Nick Foles.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that would be a good route to go down. And obviously, if you take a quarterback at number 6, that's your quarterback.
Right.
That's your quarterback, not Jalen Hurts. And I don't even want to bring up Deshaun Watson because
we are going to bring up Deshaun Watson. At least I am to you. And we have 4 more lawsuits that were filed this morning, including one that alleges sexual misconduct as late as March. It looks like this month. So that's now 11 lawsuits filed by Tony Busby, with the latest including a sexual assault this month. What's new? What's different? How does this thing change or progress, in your opinion, John?
Well, I don't see how anybody can trade for Deshaun Watson with that kind of uncertainty. I mean, you're going to give up 3 first-round picks, and let's use the Eagles as an example. They'd be giving up Jalen Hurts and probably 3 first-round picks to get a guy who's got 11 civil lawsuits going against them. Now, you can say whatever you want about Tony Busby versus Rusty Harden, which I think is a great sort of matchup in the sports world. But these are serious allegations. They're civil, but still, I mean, he may never play again if this is real.
Wow.
You have to take it at least seriously, at least somewhat seriously. I don't know how you can trade for Deshaun Watson until this is cleared up.
I mean, it's by design, the way it's looking, as they're going forward. The
timing is very peculiar. Yeah.
Right. Very, very peculiar.
Yeah, but he won't be able to play either. I mean, think about it. Like, yes, the Texans won't be able to trade him, but he'll also be on the sideline on the exempt list. So real quick, let me follow this up, because we brought this up with Dan Lust, an attorney, sports attorney, good mind, that will be on the show a bunch. But John McMullen at JF McMullen on Twitter, NFL Insider here with JAKIB Media, SI Eagles Maven, and Philly Voice, of course. Do you get paid your salary each week if you're on the commissioner's exempt list for, let's say, the NFL is investigating whether or not you committed these allegations?
Yeah, you get your salary. So,
okay. So
if you're on.
Thank you. I didn't mean to lawyer you, but I was just saying the reason is because I think people believe that this is a Texans conspiracy and all, but the reality is that he would get paid for like 8 weeks on the exempt list without even being out on the field. Mm-hmm. So the Texans would be setting themselves.
There's no benefit there.
Yeah.
For the Texans.
Somebody else could be setting Deshaun Watson up. I'm not discounting that or denying that in any means, but it seems like the Texans are also getting burned big time. Like, that would be a major. You wouldn't be cutting your nose off to spite your face. You would be cutting your head off to spite your body.
Yeah, that I understand why people, I mean, there's such acrimony. I can't imagine that the Texans would be behind this. It doesn't help them for numerous reasons as well. It doesn't help them if he stays. It doesn't help them trying to trade him. It only affects his trade value. I understand there's a relationship between the McNairs and the lawyer, but, prominent people in cities tend to know each other. That doesn't mean conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, think about it. It's a neighbor. Like, Barrett's neighbor would do everything possible to screw him over. He's had this junker out front for 7 months.
Right.
All right. So we assume that neighbors are friends here. What if this guy who runs the Texans is a complete pain in the ass? And Busby's like, I've had it. I've asked you to pick your trash up. I've asked you to cut that tree down.
Right.
Now I'm going after you.
Well, I agree with that. Just because you're neighbors, you're not friends. But nonetheless, also, I mean, there's tremendous culpability if you're accusing someone of doing something for whatever reason at this type of level. And obviously, Deshaun Watson has the means from a financial standpoint to fight back. He's got the most prominent lawyer in Houston working for him.
Yep.
So it's not like there's not danger for the other side if you're just making stuff up. So my point to this is you have to let this clear itself up. You can't trade if you're an NFL team right now for Deshaun Watson. You can't do it.
Well, we're going to take a quick break. We'll wrap the hour coming up. And I agree with you. If this is all fake and it's all made up, Busby should be thrown in jail because there's
he'll be disbarred.
Well, yeah, but it should be worse than that, right? I mean, this is a criminal act against somebody's name.
Yeah.
And I would say this about canceling in general. Like, I applied. This is painting with a broad brush. Like, if you're bringing these accusations, I don't care what area. I don't know. We'll talk about this in the break. It's themiddlephillyvoice.com/themiddle and SportsMap Radio.
Football in Philadelphia is a lifestyle, a passion from birth, and a personal responsibility to know the game. Boo when necessary. And think about Eagles! Every second of every minute of every hour of every day. Birds 365 was created for you. Jody Mack, the legendary sports talker, joins forces with NFL insider John McMullen. Birds 365. Start your morning with Johnny Mack and Jody Mack across the JAKIB Media Network. Watch it live on YouTube.
Looking for a place to track your action, purchase picks, and share your sports betting analysis with the gambling community? Check out Book It Sports, a social media platform with an unparalleled experience catered for the sports betting community. On the Book It Sports app, you can track all your NFL, NBA, and college basketball picks while getting real-time updates and injury reports all in one convenient place. Start building your following and stand out amongst your friends by downloading Book It Sports today on the Apple and Google Play stores. Let's cash some tickets and put it on Book It.
We've got 2 minutes left. All right. And Ron Culver has just proven my theory that this, if it's a setup, boils down to just being a bad neighbor. I'm going to give you this story here. Look at this. That's a tank that Tony Busby had parked outside of his yard for almost a year.
No.
We give Barrett crap for the junker. This dude had a World War II era Sherman M4A4 tank out for a year.
Well, yeah, then it's not even a junker. It's a Mercedes.
Yeah, exactly right. No, we give him crap. It's not a junker. It's a Mercedes. It's a nice car. You're right. Look at that.
Bro, but the biggest thing is
just everything.
The biggest thing is he's using social media as his judge and jury. He's using social media to get this all out. It's not like, anything has been basically filed yet in the court system yet. Am I wrong?
Criminal charges whatsoever.
No criminal.
The public opinion.
That's what happens to people who get canceled, where social media is the vehicle of cancellation. A lot of times you'll see, and again, I brought this up last week. It doesn't matter if there is a conservative writer who has left Twitter and created his own clubhouse and people are on there now, or if it's Deshaun Watson, anybody in between, people are responding like, okay, show me proof of allegations. And the people with the allegations aren't providing any proof. So what happens is the people who are saying, like Deshaun Watson, I'm being set up, by saying that, it just furthers the belief because it goes back to social. It's a very dangerous, it's like deep fake on social. It's very dangerous, and people can get away with any accusation, and half of the people will believe it because there's no proof.
Right.
Look at this thing. Look at this thing. Are you telling me that this doesn't have any type of, come on, John. All right. You're telling me that doesn't impact your thoughts?
Well, no, I mean, the thing that impacts me is what Barrett said about there's no criminal charge. Forget about charges, accusations. And Busby at one point said he'd been talking to the Houston Police Department.
Hold on. I'm sorry. We are back. I just wanted to make sure officially.
All right.
Talking over the image.
the Houston Police Department claims they have had no contact. So,
right.
I think we're up to 22 accusers. If you have 22 different women accusing you of some kind of sexual misconduct, you would think the Houston Police Department would be on something. They claim they have no investigation started. So that to me is the biggest red flag. But, from an NFL standpoint, which I'll also say really doesn't matter when you're talking about charges this serious, the league is investigating. So you have to talk about it logically from a league standpoint. And if they're investigating, it's an issue.
What's the latest that you have? And if you're joining us now on the stream, you can see this. This is ridiculous. The tank that was sitting outside Tony Busby's house for a year, thanks to Ron Culver. How
looks photoshopped.
It does look photoshopped. Is this a real story, Ron?
It does look photoshopped.
That looks photoshopped to me.
No, that's fake news.
Yeah, that's fake news.
Well, stay tuned for tomorrow then.
Yeah. What a tease. What a carryover. All right, we're back in 30. It's the middle overtime next. John's here too. See ya.
Looking for a place to track your action, purchase picks, and share your sports betting analysis with the gambling community? Check out Book It Sports, a social media platform with an unparalleled experience catered for the sports betting community. On the Book It Sports app, you can track all your NFL, NBA, and college basketball picks while getting real-time updates and injury reports all in one convenient place. Start building your following and stand out amongst your friends by downloading Book It Sports today on the Apple and Google Play stores. Let's cash some tickets and put it on Book It.
All right, overtime, courtesy of phillyvoice.com/the middle. As you see, Book It Sports, our sponsor each and every day. Barrett Brooks, Harry Mays, Eitan Shander, John McMullen on days in which we're fortunate enough to have him, and those days could be dwindling as he has a new program. Birds 365 coming out with Jody McDonald, as you already know, will continue to be told throughout our days leading up to the start of next month. So if there's anything we've left off the table, this is usually where we pop up. From our standpoint, I mean, my goodness, it looks like it's pretty much the draft at this point. Like, what are people beating to death right now in a 5 or 6 minute overtime that we have? What are people beating to death locally about the Philadelphia Eagles right now? What they should do in the draft, I imagine. Is there anything else?
Yeah, I think today it's going to pick up because it was sort of Alabama Zoom day. 99 different reporters. I've never seen more reporters on a Zoom call. That's how big of a deal Alabama is. But Devontae Smith, so many top pick, Patrick Surtain, as we mentioned. So, yeah, I mean, the draft is going to heat up, and especially, but I do think phase 2 of free agency is where the Eagles are going to make them hay, and they already did with Anthony Harris. I think that was a great signing. I think it was phenomenal. This guy was one of the best safeties in football 2 years ago. And again, the Vikings front seven fell off a cliff because of injuries and COVID and issues. And if you don't have a pass rush, it's difficult for any defensive back to look good. This guy can play. And I thought it was a really prudent signing. And if the Eagles get Adoree Jackson, if they get Joe Flacco, things start to look a little bit better.
They'll look a lot better, and then we can invest some draft picks in key positions. And my key positions right now are the linebacker position, another backup center/guard, and I'm really looking for another running back in the draft.
Yeah,
and all those
I agree. Another running back. I think the Eagles are pretty deep on the offensive line too. If guys stay healthy, big ifs.
Yeah.
But if Lane Johnson is healthy, Brandon Brooks is healthy.
Well, if Dillard can play too, we don't know if he can play.
Yeah, Andre Dillard. Yeah. But Nate Herbig, he showed some things.
He showed a lot
last season.
Wait, I thought that's the guy you were out on.
Yeah.
What about who's the kid from Auburn they drafted last year in the 6th or 7th
Jack
round?
Driscoll.
Yeah.
Yeah, Prince also.
Right.
No, Prince is in Kansas City. Prince.
Oh, you went to Kansas City?
Yeah.
Yeah. Prince Tega Wanago.
Who's the next name that we should all anticipate going somewhere, even if it's staying with their team? But what's the next big crazy signing that's going to set the world on fire, John?
Well, I don't think, the big signings we're in phase 2. I think Adoree Jackson's the biggest one today because he's with the Giants right now he's supposed to come down the turnpike, stop at Molly Pitcher service area, and hit Novacare. So
I thought they shut that down for like that ongoing construction. Is that
did.
back up and running?
But I like saying Molly Pitcher service area. It's my favorite.
No, I like the Vince Lombardi service area. You got to keep it in
north.
I know, but you got to keep it in football mode. You know.
Yeah, that's
6:46 at the half, mind you. Oregon's about to knock off Iowa.
Wow.
So, all right. I mean, I guess you're right here. Where if you're, let's just look at it. If you're Adoree Jackson, where and the money is equal, which I don't think it would be, right? But if you're Adoree Jackson, then why would you sign with the Eagles over the Giants? Why would you sign with the Eagles over any team in this division? Even if you were going to be a third cornerback on Washington or what have you, like, why would you sign with the Eagles at this point over any other team in the division?
Well, you have sort of this recruiting game going on. Logan Ryan is recruiting for the Giants, Rodney McLeod, Darius Slay. I mean, you have Darius Slay and Anthony Harris. Those are big-time players in this league. And if they get on there and say, hey, Adoree Jackson, come play with us, that might have some cachet.
I saw
Darius Slay is a big deal in this league.
They went large on that recruiting on Galladay, right?
Yeah.
Did they pull that move that the Clippers did where they locked themselves in DeAndre Jordan's house and said, or was that Kevin Durant's house? And they played video games and they said, you're not leaving until you sign.
And that's the thing. Right? When you have a guy in your building, it's a lot easier to not get him to leave than being second in line.
Right.
The Eagles are second in line here, so they're behind the 8 ball already.
It was like when I used to sell copiers, man. You'd want to get your copier in there for a demo, and then before you took it out there, you wanted to be the last demo.
Yep.
Yeah.
So after the Canon rep took his Canon copier out of there, I rolled mine in, and it wasn't leaving.
It's amazing.
That's right.
Exactly.
That mentality has got you
always selling.
Yeah.
Hey, I could sell some freaking copiers.
I'm sure I could sell anything. Absolutely. All right, 2 quick things here. One, before we get out of here, Harry, why don't you do this real quick? Why don't you give any player pick that you have, including maybe Ohio on the outright money line? I see if you want, and this is only going to take 2 seconds here, but there is a ton. I actually placed a wager on Oklahoma to beat Gonzaga because there is it's not a huge unit. It was actually a half a unit, but there is so much money on Gonzaga winning this game outright, and it's insanity. When you look at the amount of it, it was up in the 90 percentile. So do you have any play before I leave all with a question regarding the NFL and a move that was made?
All right. I just see the line now. So I am going to take USC with the money line. USC outright money line over Kansas.
Outright.
Then I'm gonna say Arkansas finally gets Oral Roberts out of here.
That would be an unpopular.
No more Oral. That's a depressing.
That's a bad week. That's a bad week, Barrett.
I tell you, Moral Oral was an underrated show, man. Honestly, you go check that out. Honestly, you'll now Alabama -4.5 has dropped or has moved up to 5.5. Kansas is now at +1. You like that USC opened up as a favorite and it's down to a pick 'em?
I don't know what the opening line was.
1. USC was laying 1.
They were favored to begin with?
Yep.
Yeah, I've still taken USC.
All right. Now, last question. I'm setting it right now at 2.5. 2.5 games played.
Deshaun?
Over, under. I'm going over.
Deshaun's going to play 12 games for the Rams, and Eagles fans are going to pull their hair out if they have any.
And they're going to go to the Super Bowl.
Barrett, what's your over or under for Deshaun games played at 2.5?
That's I'm gonna go over.
Yeah.
You had to think about it though.
Yeah, I did. All right. I'm going over.
Harry?
Yes, I'm going over. The warmer weather, the environment of Southern California will keep those hamstrings nice and loose.
And he's home.
Yes, he is.
That's right.
Well, that could be a bad thing. You remember those stories from New Jersey Advanced Media?
Right. Yeah.
Well, you can no longer pin them on that. Exactly. All right. Anybody have anything left to say? We should have ended on that. That was beautiful.
We should have. Yes.
All right. We will. We'll see you tomorrow.
Looking for a place to track your action, purchase picks, and share your sports betting analysis with the gambling community? Check out Book It Sports, a social media platform with an unparalleled experience catered for the sports betting community. On the Book It Sports app, you can track all your NFL, NBA, and college basketball picks while getting real-time updates and injury reports all in one convenient place. Start building your following and stand out amongst your friends by downloading Book It Sports today on the Apple and Google Play stores. Let's cash some tickets and put it on Book It.
Football in Philadelphia is a lifestyle, a passion from birth, and a personal responsibility to know the game. Boo when necessary. And think about Eagles! Every second of every minute of every hour of every day. Birds 365 was created for you. Jody Mack, the legendary sports talker, joins forces with NFL insider John McMullen. Birds 365. Start your morning with Johnny Mack and Jody Mack across the JAKIB Media Network. Watch it live on YouTube.